kind of broke. My laptop's not really in the best shape, to be honest with you. It's been messed up really for God knows how long. I've got a cooling issue on there, and I need to get it fixed, but it's been a really, really big issue. So it's unfortunate, basically, that happened. I'm disappointed that basically happened because I've been so excited and so pumped to be streaming here on YouTube, but it's just unfortunate what happened. Again, there's really nothing I can do about that. It's really out of my control, and there's really nothing. I feel so bad for you guys because y'all really wanted to tune into this, and I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, my laptop basically went into didn't do very, very good, and it kind of just died on me. So disappointing for sure, no doubt about it. And I hate it. I hate my laptop just dying. I can't believe that it just. I cannot believe that it just died on me like that. I can't believe that. So again, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Okay, Monty Sports Media asks, so are you going to add YouTube memberships to your channel after hitting 1K 1,000 subscribers? Possibly. I know you tried to answer that question for the stream died. Again, I do apologize for that happening, but maybe I think I absolutely would love to do for sure. I'd absolutely love to go ahead and basically add memberships for sure. That's something I'm definitely in the cards for sure and something to plan. So, like I said, if you got any questions to ask, I definitely would love it if you guys send the questions in so I can basically answer for you guys. Again, really sorry about that. There's nothing I can really, really do about that, and it kind of kicked off the stream. Someone X asked, Monty Sports Media asks, also, do you think the Charlotte Roval will return in 2023 for NASCAR? I think you're going to want to keep it, but again, I think really it's going to all depend on the TV ratings, but I think they'll at least keep it for sure through at least probably the TV contract. I would think probably through 2024, but it's very possible it also could be out after 2023, but I think NASCAR would love to keep the Charlotte Roval. I think it really provided a lot of great racing for sure. I think it's provided great racing. Again, I think it just all comes down to the TV ratings. So I think, it all comes down to the TV ratings, and I think that's a very, very important factor into that for sure. So glad to see all of you are coming back in here and finding the stream once again. Again, disappointed that basically happened. Monty Sports Media asks, how do you feel about Noah Gragson and Cup for 2023? I definitely think he's going to do solid. I don't expect Gragson to perform on the same level as a driver like, let's say, like Eric Jones, but I think he's going to do solid. I think he's going to kind of be in between. I don't expect him to perform as well. Like I said, I don't expect him to perform as well as a driver like Eric Jones has, but I think he'll do solid. Joshua Calise Cecilia says, what are your expectations for Kimi Räikkönen and Watkins going to the Progeny 1 car for Trackhouse Racing? Honestly, I think Kimi Räikkönen's actually going to be an underdog in the race. I think he's going to be kind of a surprise for sure. I know a lot of people really anticipated him to not do much, but again, I think Kimi Räikkönen is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to be solid. Lumix, hello. Welcome back. Good to see you're back. Courtney Schreimer asks, should Zane Smith come to Cup in 2024? I think Zane Smith impressed me at Gateway. He ran top 20 in a 17 car, so why not? I would definitely love to see him come to Gateway for sure and race and come in Cup. Again, bring him Cup. Ford, I know they want to keep him. Bring him to Cup. Monty Sports Media once again asks, also, will the Truck Series race Indy Road Course or the Charlotte Roval or Road America? Don't ever see a Truck Series going to Indy Road Course. You want to know why? Because basically they have the IRP track. It's going to go back to IRP, but again, from what we've heard from certain individuals, basically it's not a profit. Jeremy Clemens said it's not a profit to go to IRP, so that's a big reason right there. Lumix says, how old are you and how long have you been a fan of NASCAR? I am currently 22 years old. I'll be 23 this January, and I've been a NASCAR fan now for 15 years. I didn't really start getting in-depth in taking NASCAR as seriously as I did basically at the beginning. Again, I've been a huge NASCAR fan for a very, very long time. So, I love being a fan of NASCAR. That I've been a fan for a long time. Hello, Xena. How you doing? I know you've been a big fan of my channel for a while. You do a really good job on Twitter, man. Your channel's really growing. I've seen your channel. You're doing a good job. Keep up the work. Monty Sports Media says, if you don't mind me asking, what part of Florida do you live in? I'm not really going to give out personal locations, but I can tell you that much. I do not live in Florida. I promise you, I don't live in Florida. My big hint is I kind of live near the St. Louis area. That's really going to be your only hint. I went to Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway, and that's where he did. Xenon Striker says, what do you think of Cole Custer? I like Cole Custer. No doubt about that. I definitely like Cole Custer, but again, I just have been extremely disappointed in Cole Custer's performance. I want to see a little bit more out of Cole Custer, but again, who really knows? I just want to see him do a little bit more in Cup, but I think Xfinity would be really good for sure. Kai Kaleniel says, if NASCAR were ever to try an international track in the Cup Series, what track would you like that to be? Honestly, let's go back to Canada and let's go to back Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I think Circuit Gilles Villeneuve provided great racing for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I think they absolutely need to go back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I think it will provide amazing racing, in my opinion. So Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is my track. Lumix asks, thoughts on Deegan? Do you think she'll ever go to Xfinity or Cup? I do think long-term she's end up in Xfinity or Cup, whether we like it or not. I expect that Hailie Deegan is going to end up in the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series. I don't see her not jumping up at some point, but she needs to do better. She's not been great, but I'm hoping that this crew chief change, we're bringing Jerry Baxter on, which I'm a huge fan of Jerry Baxter and him as a crew chief. I think he'll do a really solid job with helping her out, but I don't see her going to Xfinity next year. I don't see her going to Xfinity at least for another year. She needs to do better in trucks. Monty Sports Media asks, how do you feel about Chicago Street Course in 2023? Personally, there's a big reason why I'm not a big fan of it, and it's Road America. But I understand what NASCAR is trying to do. They're basically trying to get that out there and basically essentially, they're trying to get that casual fan, and they're trying to basically help with the TV deal coming up. Why do you think they have the LA Clash, the LA Coliseum? They're trying to get more people to tune in, if that makes any sense, and trying to get big ratings. And the LA Coliseum race did extremely well. Most watched, I think, Busch Clash since, I think, 2016. So, yeah, that's a big reason. Monty Sports Media says, will the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series race alongside the Cup race at the Chicago Street Course in 2023? There have been some rumors at one point that maybe Xfinity would go there. I think you'll for sure see Cup. You're definitely maybe going to see Xfinity, but honestly, I'm not sure. Hi, Tyler. How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. Robert Vandermeer says, I know you've been a supporter of my channel for quite some time, so good to see you. Thoughts on a DJR crew chief swap? I feel like Bassler is a much better crew chief than Hillman. 1,000% agree. I think he's going to do much better for Hailie Deegan, and he really needs to do better for Deegan, because Deegan, like I said, has been very disappointing this year, and I think Mike Hillman's been a factor, but I don't think Hillman's a terrible crew chief in my opinion, but I don't think he's a fantastic either, so he's got to do better. Xenon Striker says, which NASCAR diecast would you own? The only one I own right now is a Matt Crafton one that I won in a giveaway. Yes, I don't have a lot of diecasts. One, not a ton of money, and number two, it costs a lot more money, and right now I'm trying to save money at the moment, if that makes any sense. I hope to start doing more diecast collecting maybe in 2023, but honestly, I'm not sure. Basically, next question comes, Lumix said, I hope all three go to Chicago Street Course. I don't want to see trucks. I think Xfinity and Cup would definitely be really, really solid. But again, who knows what is really going to happen at this point. We could see both there because it's the only Cup there. Because we know IMSA is going to be there as well. Speaking of which, Body Sports Media said, will IMSA and NASCAR be a wreck fest at Chicago Street Course in 2023? Possibly. I could definitely see it being a wreck fest. I'm not sure if it is going to be a wreck fest, but I think it could absolutely possibly be a wreck fest. Because again, with how tight the corners are with the proposed layout that they're going to run next year, I think it is possibly going to be a race where there's going to be a lot of chaos for sure. But honestly, we'll just have to wait and see what happens in regards to that. Kevin Brooks said, Harvick to win. Good choice. Harvick's one of my ones to watch. I think Kevin Harvick's going to have a lot of momentum. He ran really well here last time as well. Got a runner-up finish only to be beat by Denny Hamlin kind of on strategy. He was catching Denny Hamlin near the end of the race, by the way. And Harvick, I think he's got a lot of momentum, so I think he's got a shot. Lumix says, Pepsi or Coke? I know the Carnation, if he ever watches me, basically said, I know the Carnation's a big Pepsi fan. I'm more of a Coke guy personally. I've been a Coke person for only a long time. The only Pepsi product I'm really a big fan of is honestly Mountain Dew. That's the only one I'm a really big fan of, but I'm more of a Coke guy. Monty says, how do you feel about IMSA being out on a road course next season for the first time possibly? Really? IMSA's rumored to not be on a road course? I didn't know that. Well, are you talking about the Indy road course? Because if it's Indianapolis, they're going to be on the road course. If I remember correctly, right? I thought they're going to be on the Indy road course. Someone does have to fact check me on that, but I'm not entirely sure what you mean and talk about. No, Chicago Street Course. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they're going to be basically. I know they run at Long Beach, so yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. Xenon Striker says, will there be another flip at Daytona in August? Anything's possible at this point. You can't predict it won't happen and can't predict it will happen. There's definitely a chance at it and could be a very big possibility that we could absolutely see another flip. Tyler Meek says, which driver replaced the 9? Which driver will drive the 9 car in 2023 to replace Noah Gragson? I know there have been rumblings and rumors and wild rumors that Drew Dollar was maybe going to get in that ride. But again, I think Ryan Williams, who designs for Junior Motorsports, kind of confirmed today that Drew Dollar is not getting behind a wheel. I know that on the recent Dale Jr. download, Ty Gibbs and Dale Jr. were talking about Drew. And Dale said, oh, I've heard of him. So that's why I think some people really think that there's a chance that that could happen. But again, I think Carson Osbar would be my personal choice. I like Carson Osbar a lot. He would be a really good choice to get behind the wheel of that. Spotty Sports Media, once again, thanks for all the questions. I really appreciate it, you guys. He says, should NASCAR get rid of 2 dates at Atlanta in the future? I think most tracks should only have 1 date. I think the only tracks that should have 2 dates are Bristol because you have the 2 configurations. I think personally, Martinsville could be a track that should have 2 dates personally. And also, I think Daytona and Talladega. Well, you have Daytona Road Course. Other than that, every track 1 date. I think you look at a lot of races this year. Look at Michigan. Michigan had its first infield camping sellout since 2012 and had their largest crowd since 2016. So I think they all need to go to 1 date. So I'm for it for sure. Atlanta has to impress me this year, though, but I definitely think for sure that it should go to 1 date. Jacob Wilson asks, will IRP replace any road course in 2023 for the Xfinity Series? I think it's very possible that could happen, but I think that Jeremy Clements went on SiriusXM NASCAR radio, and I believe he said this too. Someone could fact check me on this, but I do believe that he said that they don't make a major profit off of it. So I think that's one of the big reasons why that is basically happening, why I don't think it's going to happen, but I definitely would love that to happen for sure. Jacob Wilson wants, Lumick says, Cole Custer will go to 9. I like to see Cole Custer 9. He would definitely be a solid choice. Cole Custer has funding and sponsorship, but is he going to leave Stewart-Haas Racing? I don't really know. Robert Vandermeer, he disagrees with Lumick and says, I think Chandler Smith has it, the 9 car for 2023. Yeah, sure, why not? I think Chandler Smith, if he doesn't stay in the Toyota pipeline long term, I know that Toyota is a big fan of Chandler Smith, and again, he's been really impressive with the camp, but Chandler Smith, I think, would be a great candidate for the 9 car. He would make that great, and there's not a lot of really big options that they can go with out in the Chevy camp right now. Sure, he has some drivers like Carson Osbar, and I think Carson would definitely be a really good choice, by the way. We'll just wait and see what happens. He gets to the 9. I think it's all a surprise. I still think Carson's a favorite to get in there. Carson's been basically tweeting some things, some chess pieces, and Carson's a memester, so sometimes he's trolling. Monty Sports Media asks, should NASCAR have the same practice and qualifying format for all 3 series in 2023? I honestly would love that. I think all series, in my opinion, here's what I would love to see. There needs to be more practice time. I'm not saying they need to go to 2 or 3 practice sessions, but every series should have 1 full happy hour session, a 50-minute session, and a single car qualifying. I've been somewhat a fan of the round system, but I personally think that we should honestly stop doing the rounds. That's just my opinion on that. Robert Vandermeer asks, where do you think Ryan Preece lands in 2023? I think Ryan Preece could still be a reserve driver next year. I think with the rumblings and rumors of Eric Almirola potentially, Eric Almirola staying, and with the rumors of potentially Kyle Busch going to 41, I think that what the long-term plan for Preece is, I think they want him to go and replace for Kevin Harvick. I think that's what is going to happen. Jacob Wilson asks, will NASCAR go bold big time in 2024 multiple times, and what new tracks should be added to it? I love seeing some new tracks. If Portland doesn't get on the schedule, I love that to go on. I think NASCAR needs to go international. I think they need to go either back to Mexico City and run on the Autodroma Hernando Rodriguez track, or need to go to Montreal or Canadian Tire. That's the options that they basically should do, in my personal opinion. Xenon Striker asks, is Kurt Busch out for the rest of the season? No, but I could definitely see him being out for the rest of the season, Xenon. I think when it comes to concussions, we really don't know. Concussion is something that needs to absolutely be taken very seriously, and I'm glad he's really taking that seriously to basically try to get himself better. I know that he wanted to be back this week, and he actually was. I think he decided himself that he's not ready yet to get back in, so we'll see, but again, we'll see what happens, but I think he potentially could be out. Thank you, Austin, for tuning in. Appreciate that. Hope you, thanks for tuning in, and see you later. Monty Sports Media says, should NASCAR have 6 or 7 or more road course in Xfinity and Cup in the future? I think Xfinity has 5 or 6. I think that's a perfect number. I think we're at the perfect number right now of 6. I think more than 6 is way too much, but I think one thing I love about the schedule is how diverse the schedule is. You have so many different you have so many different basically types of tracks and different variations on the schedule. I think NASCAR has the most diverse schedule, so I kind of agree, but at the same time, I don't think we need to see an insane amount. Robert Vandermeer says, I think DGR will downsize to 2 trucks and be with just the Gray brothers in 2023 because Taylor Gray turns 18 in March. I think Hailie Deegan will be back in the DGR trucks, Robert. I don't see Hailie Deegan being let go. I know her performances haven't been great, but she does have sponsorship from Monster, and other companies have been willing to sponsor her as well. So I do not see them downsizing, in my opinion. I don't see them downsizing. Lumix says, do you think Alex Bowman will stay at Hendrick Motorsports long term? He seems like the odd guy out of 2023. I think Alex Bowman could be his last year next year. I don't want to sound like for all you Alex Bowman fans, if there's any in the chat right now, I think there's a good chance this could be the last year for Alex Bowman. Look, as much as I like Alex Bowman, he's been having a lot of bad luck, but again, it all comes down to Ally. That's going to be the big key. I'd love to see him stay at Hendrick. I think they've got a good core of drivers. You've got the defending champion Kyle Larson. You also, of course, have William Byron, who, while he's struggled this year outside of 2 wins, I think he would definitely be a great candidate for sure. Well, I hope he stays. That's what I'm hoping at this point. Monty Sports Media asked, should the Xfinity race on dirt in the future, like trucks and Cup? Yep, absolutely. I love to see Xfinity run. I like to see trucks run on Friday night, Xfinity on Saturday night, and Cup on Sunday for the Bristol Dirt Race. It needs to happen, in my opinion. I think that's what they should do. I think there needs to be dirt in Xfinity, because if you're going to have dirt in Cup and you have dirt in trucks, you need to do the middle ground, and I think there also needs to be dirt in Xfinity as well, in my personal opinion. Jacob Wilson says, in 2024, will lower series like Xfinity Series and trucks go to Chicago while Cup goes to Chicago Street Course? Maybe. That's a very big option. I think there's a long-term plan that maybe Chicagoland could come back. I know that they've been really keeping an eye on Chicago. I've been watching what's been going on in Chicagoland from social media, and trust me, the track is still alive. The track's in really good condition. They've been really working on it. So I absolutely think that is a very big possibility. I think it's possible they go back in 2024, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Xenon Striker asks, would Jimmy Johnson drive the 91 car for 2023 for the Coke 600? Justin Marks is willing to do it. So if Jimmy Johnson wants to do the double, and Jimmy has shown some interest, I think it would definitely be really, really cool for them to absolutely do it for sure. I would definitely love the fact for Jimmy to run it. I think it'd be cool for them to do double. I also like to see other drivers consider, like maybe Joseph Newgarden. I think would definitely be interesting for sure. But again, we'll wait and see what happens. Lumix says, I like the Alex Bowman too. I hope he stays at HMS. I really like all the HMS drivers. I agree. I want Bowman to stay. It all depends on Ally, though. If Ally stays committed long term, he'll continue driving for them. That's what's going to happen. Robert Vandermeer kind of brought up an interesting point. Says DGR downsizing is because I think Deegan's moving up to the 98, replacing Herbst, and Herbst goes to the College 10 car to replace Castle. Well, yes, I do know that they have kind of a commitment with Monster Energy, and Riley Herbst is kind of big with the Monster funding. I do not see Herbst leaving the team. I think Herbst is staying in the 98 next year. Herbst has also been improving, in my opinion. He's been a little bit better. So I think he's going to stay there next year. Monty Sports Media says, how do you feel about the LA Coliseum, Indy Road Course, Bristol Dirt, COTA, and Worldwide Technology Raceway returning to the Cup Series in 2023, since they are new tracks added since 2021 and 2022? Well, LA Coliseum, that's confirmed for next year. That's going to basically be on the same weekend. Indy Road Course is basically at this point confirmed for 2023. They're talking about basically heading into 2024, maybe rotating, having a mixture of races, but that's what's in the conversations. Bristol Dirt's already confirmed. They're going to try to have it on Easter weekend. COTA, there's been some rumors that could be coming back. And Worldwide Technology Raceway has a 3-year deal, so they're not going anywhere. And I hope to be back at Worldwide Technology next year. Hope to be at some more races next year as well. So definitely hope that for sure. Will Sorrell just says, Xfinity on dirt would be chaos. Probably, with how crazy the Xfinity Series has been this year and some of the chaos we've seen, it'd probably be crazy. Definitely would be. Robert says, Xfinity doesn't do dirt because of low payouts and a different body's used for dirt. That's a good point. And I think you do bring up a good point there because of the cutting costs. You do bring up a very good point. Elliot Drummond says, Hamilton or Verstappen, only one right answer. If we had to go by last year, I still say Verstappen, and I still right now say Verstappen. Verstappen right now at the moment, doing better in my opinion. He's been a better driver this year. Hamilton's been improving, no doubt about that, but I really think that Verstappen is better currently at the moment right now. That's just my opinion. Jacob Wilson says IndyCar would love to do doubleheader in 2024 at Brickyard for Indy 500. Will IndyCar have their wish, or will Cup sit for the Coke 600? Not going to be changing. They're going to have the double. They've had it for 60. They basically have had it for 60-something years. They're not going to change it. They're still going to have the Coke 600. I think it'd be cool if they had the Brickyard during the Memorial Day weekend, but I think they're going to keep the Coke 600. They're basically going to keep the Coke 600 the same weekend as the Indianapolis 500. Basically, next person said Lumix, a higher hoodlum. I want to see like 3 or 4 Dirt Cup races a year. Let's not jump to 3 or 4. I think maybe 1 or 2 at the most is kind of where I stand on that. Because again, I love the diverse schedule. I don't want to see them do too many, in my personal opinion. Shield X says, do you think that the Pocono doubleheader should return? With how good the attendance has been for the race this year, for all the races combined, I honestly don't see them doing the doubleheader anytime soon. Because if Pocono was owned by a company like IMS or whatever the company's, Indianapolis Motorsport Corporate, whatever it is, or MSMI, yeah, I think they definitely would for sure be back for doubleheader, but I don't see it happening. My Sports Media says, how would you feel if ARCA Menard Series raced at Bristol Dirt and Knox Lake Truck Series? ARCA has some dirt races. They race, I think it is, I don't remember if the coins or not, but Springfield Mile, they've got dirt races. So, and by the way, Buddy Kofoid's going to be behind the wheel of that. So, yeah, really excited there. Elliot Drummond responding to my answer said, shame, Daniel, shame. Look, I like Lewis Hamilton, but Max Verstappen right now is better. Just my personal opinion. I think he's better. Robert Vandermeer says, do you think that a Tory stays a 2-truck team next year or downsizes to 1? Comes down to funding, and both Tyler Ankrum and Chase Purdy, both currently right now at the moment, they actually have funding right now that's really backing them up right now. I think because they got funding, Chase Purdy's been okay this year, but not special, and Ankrum missed the playoffs, been very disappointing in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't expect any changes there. I think they're going to stay a 2-truck team. Kevin Brooks, Road Course Vancouver, British Columbia. Sure, why not? I would definitely love to see it. More diversity in the schedule and go international. NASCAR wants to go international, so why not? Jacob Wilson says, do you think that Sonoma be the second race in 2024 after Daytona 500 since Auto Club Short Track going to move to a different date? Honestly, I think it would be cool for Sonoma to definitely be the second race for sure. I think if Sonoma is going to stay on the Cup schedule long term, it needs to be moved to the spring. I think more people will show up. I think it's going to be a better environment. They got very lucky this year with the cooler temperatures, but really not a lot of people showed up from what I heard. So, yeah, I definitely think that needs to happen. Xenon Striker, who is your championship pick? I'll go right now through all 3 series. For trucks, currently at the moment right now, I would say Zane Smith right now. Zane Smith's been the most consistent, has a ton of playoff points, has been extremely consistent. Xfinity, I think it's a toss-up between Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier. Those have been the 2 best. Those are the 2 favorites. Cup, right now, Chase Elliott without a doubt. I think Chase Elliott's right now the only one I for sure think is going to end up returning to the Final Four, at least confirmed right now. Monty Sports Media, how do you feel about NASCAR Truck Series having 3 road course races in 2021 for their season? The road course races for trucks are a little bit chaotic. I think they need to take one of them out and only go to 2. That's my opinion on that. Shield X asks, where do you think Brett Moffitt goes? I think he might go to the Junior Motorsports 9, but he might not have enough funding. That right there you mentioned is one of the most important and key things in regards to it. Funding. Brett Moffitt does not have a ton of funding. And I think with the 9 car, they're going to need funding to get into that ride. And there's some drivers that have some funding. Now, that 9 car is probably going to keep some sponsors. Maybe Bass Pro Shops returns. I don't know. Maybe Black Friday for Coffee stays. They're kind of a meme company. But Brett Moffitt's really not like a meme kind of person. So, and it's still going to come down to funding who gets behind the wheel of that 9 car next year. Robert Vandermeer says, if Ty Gibbs goes to Cup, what do you think happens to the 54 car? For the Xfinity Series, here's what I think is very, very possible. I think the 54 car could be upcoming the All-Star car. You have the 18, the 19, even maybe expand to 4 cars like Monty Sports is asking. I think they definitely absolutely could basically put John Hunter in the ride. I think John Hunter would be a great candidate for the ride, but that's just me. I will see what happens, though. Kevin Brooks says, save on fuel after Sonoma. Yep, definitely. Monty Sports Media says, does Joe Gibbs Racing go back to 4 cars in Xfinity Series for 2023? Honestly, don't know, to be honest with you. I would love to see him go back to 4 cars. And for me, I think the lineup should revolve around Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, and Brandon Jones, with the 4th car being a rotation car. You put John Hunter in the 18 car. That's been the ride he's ran this year. You put Brandon Jones in the 19. You put Chandler Smith in the 20. And then the All-Star car is the 54 car. That's what I would do. Elliot Drummond says, hey, Daniel, you should definitely do some iRacing. I have actually wanted to do iRacing for a very, very long time, to be honest with you. I am a big, big fan of iRacing. I love iRacing. Well, not a biggest fan of iRacing. Well, I like iRacing as a whole when it comes to some of the things, but I just don't want to get basically involved with a lot of the drama in the race chats. I'm not the greatest mentally, so I would think I would probably struggle for sure. Jacob Wilson says, follow-up question from Robert to add if Ty Gibbs is number 54 for Cup, will Denny Hamlin number be changed to number 18 just like since JGR went for tradition? I think if Ty Gibbs goes full-time next year in Cup, he's going to have the 18. I don't see him bringing the 54 up. Now, maybe the 54 could become possibly a 23-11 number. Maybe. Who really knows at this point? Because anything's possible right now. Monty Sports Media says, will KBM be Ford or Chevy if KVFB now return to Toyota next season? Well, it's very obvious. KBM will go wherever Kyle Busch goes. If Kyle Busch stays with Joe Gibbs Racing, they'll stay with Toyota. If they go to Ford, if Kyle Busch goes to Rouse Racing, they'll go to Ford. If Kyle Busch goes to Kaulig Racing, like a lot of rumors and rumblings are potentially stating, then I absolutely think that we'll see them go to Chevy. Wherever Kyle Busch goes, that's where KBM is going to end up, in my opinion. That's where it's going to end up. Shield X asks, who will be the next charter buyer? Well, hopefully they've got a lot of money, because you better have a lot of money, because with Adam Stern's report as of recently, you better have around $20 million, because that's what the rumor number is. So it's a lot of money for sure, and I'll answer more when we get to Xenon's question, because he answered more. So, yeah. Monty Sports Media says, what's your favorite type of NASCAR track? 1.5 mile, short track, super speedway, dirt track, or road course? Personally, more of a short track guy. I will say short tracks have definitely been a little bit of struggle this year, but I'm more of a short track guy. 1.5 miles, though, been really impressed with them this year. The race has been really, really good. Super speedways, love super speedway racing. Dirt racing, been a big fan of dirt racing, mainly because of Kyle Larson. And then road course, love road course racing. But I think my favorite is short tracks. Xenon Striker says, what do you think of the $20 million price for charters? Good Lord, they have gone up a lot compared to last year, where we all thought it was going to be $15 million. Now they're saying $20 million. Now, why does it cost that much? Well, teams are wanting a lot of money. And again, I'll talk more about this tomorrow in my video, because I'm going to be really talking about this more on the channel tomorrow when I do go and talk about it. But yeah, $20 million is insanity. Compared to a few years ago when it was only a few $1,000,000, now they're worth $20 million for the next charter to be purchased. Holy bananas, that is a ton of money. That's an insane amount of money, in my opinion. Next question comes from Jacob Wilson saying, if KBM goes either to Ford or Chevy, will KBM need a partnership either from Rick Ware, SHR, or Kaulig? Well, KBM will probably stay alliance with Ford. I think they become whatever manufacturer they go with. They're probably not going to need a partnership from Rick Ware. They could bring some guys from Rick Ware, perhaps. Yep, definitely for sure. We'll see what happens, though. Elliot Drummond says, who are the Ford drivers you see to take NASCAR in the future, like the next Jeff and Jimmy, etc.? Right now, I think currently Ty Gibbs is one of them. Ty Gibbs is an extremely talented driver. He's got a bright future. He's going to be a champion in the first 5 years. Take it to the bank, clip it. I think he's going to be a champion in the first 5 years in Cup that he's in the series. Chase Elliott, of course, most popular driver. I think he for sure is going to end up going there. Kyle Larson, an amazing talent for sure. Guy's a champion in the sport. He will definitely be. And I absolutely think finally maybe Tyler Reddick. I think Tyler Reddick, with how good he's been, I think he'll do really, really good. Next, we'll talk about Lummox. Will Dale Jr.'s team go to Cup in 2023? Only part-time. Dale Jr. has said this. The biggest barrier for him right now going to the Cup Series full-time is the charters. He said that many times. That's a big barrier right now to going full-time Cup racing. But they said this about a month or two ago, if I'm not mistaken. They actually said that basically they may be going part-time. So if they go Cup next year, they're going to go part-time. That's what's going to happen. Monty Sports Media asks, Should ARCA have 3 road course races in the main series, like the Truck Series, in the future on their season schedule? Maybe. I definitely think it'd be very interesting for sure. I think they have 1 or 2 right now, if I'm not mistaken. They know that Mid-Ohio's on there. Who knows at this point? Maybe. I don't know. Kevin Brooks says, Harvick? Sure, Kevin Harvick could be around long term, but I think we're looking at the future. Xenon Striker says, what do you think of Riley Herbst this year? Probably one of the most improved drivers. Riley Herbst was absolutely struggling before this year. He was not that good in the 98 last year. He's gotten better in the last year, and I have been more impressed with Riley Herbst. He's been the most improved driver, in my opinion. Jacob Wilson asks, who will be in the Beer Motorsports car in 2023? Will Grayson going full-time? I don't know. Maybe they get someone like a Riley Herbst. Maybe they get a Michael Annett perhaps come back out of retirement. I honestly do not know. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Robert Vandermeer says, would KFB be the number 1 team at Ford in the Truck Series? FRM is a Cup team, and DGR is a huge supplier to FRM. You know what? Absolutely. If they do go to Ford next year, they're going to be the number 1 team. I think what the pie tree, basically the tree will be like, is you have KBM at the top, then number 2, you will have basically FRM, and then you have DGR. That's how I think the tree is going to go if KBM goes there. Now, when it comes to the Chevy camp, I think it's going to be KBM still at the top, then you'll have GMS second, and then you'll probably have Nice third. I think Nice is better, at least only for Carson Osmar, though. Monty Sports Media asks, should NASCAR return Texas for the All-Star race in 2023? I think many of you know my opinion on the All-Star race being at Texas. Probably one of my least favorite races I have ever watched. Good Lord, I freaking hated that race. It was terrible. It was garbage. I hated that race. It was atrocious. It was so bad. I hated that race so much. Please never bring Texas again, and please do a rotation. I would love that. Next question comes from Xenon saying, which part-time teams will return for 2023? I think Beer Motorsports will return. I think Beer Motorsports is going to have an opportunity to come back next year. I think they definitely will for sure be a team that comes back. I think Team Sage, if they get approved, because we're still waiting on approval, they'll be there. Of course, the Tragic 91 car, they're in the cars that return next year for sure. Of course, they're going to be having Kimi Räikkönen in the car. We're going to talk about that test, by the way, tomorrow on the channel as well. A lot of things are going to be happening on the channel, by the way, and I'm giving you guys a little bit of some things that are actually going to be happening here in the Futures channel. Tomorrow, of course, is going to be a NASCAR news video. Saturday on my channel, we're going to have the Truck Series race view from Richmond. Really excited for that. The second race of the playoffs on Saturday night. And then Sunday is going to be the Cup review from Richmond, which as we get closer to playoffs. Very intrigued as we go back to that race. Monday will probably be a NASCAR news video. We'll have to wait and see. We'll probably honestly hear more about Kyle Busch, and we'll have our weekly Kyle Busch update because it seems like every week something goes on with Kyle Busch. So I think definitely for sure we're going to see something happen there. Monty Sports Media says, should NASCAR have the All-Star race on a road course in the future? The only one they can use is the Roval. The only one. Because every other road course is not good for the attention, not good for viewership. That's probably not going to happen. So, only one I would do is the Roval. Hurricane, how you doing tonight? I know you've been a supporter of my channel for a while. Thanks for coming in. Really, really appreciate it. Xenon, good night. See you later. And I hope you see you in the comments in the future of my videos because you've been a big fan of my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. And to all you've been watching this, and to everyone has been watching this so far through the first 33, 34 minutes, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It really means the world to me. We're probably only going to be going for a little bit longer, to be honest. I'll probably be done here really, really shortly. Once again, I do apologize about the issues earlier tonight. I really had no control over that. Jacob Will says, will some Cup race be more at night in 2023 or 2024? Bristol's are most likely be a night race. I anticipate them making a night race again. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I think there need to be more on Sunday night races, but not Saturday night races, if that makes any sense. Lumick says, opinion on Scott Briggs' son, Lane Briggs, finishing 7th in his first truck race. Thought he did a very good job. Agree 1,000%. Lane Briggs at one point had one of the top 5 fastest trucks in the race. And I really think that Lane Briggs is going to be a massive asset to the 62 team. Remember, he's actually going to be in the 62 this weekend. He's going to be in the 62 in a couple days in the Truck Series. I think he's going to contend for top 10. I really think he is. Hurricane asks, how do you feel about Sandlot Racing, Daniel? I think Sandlot Racing is a pretty solid team. They've got a really good head on their shoulders, and I think they've got a bright future ahead of them. Maybe one day they go to Cup. Who knows? And I'm going to end the stream here in a second. Monty Sports Media says, should NASCAR, Xfinity, and or Truck Series go to Road America in 2023? Definitely would love them for sure to go in 2023. I think it'd be really, really cool. In my honest opinion, I think it'd be really, really awesome. So yeah, I know I'm basically ending the stream a little bit earlier, guys, but that's going to be it for the stream tonight. Again, thank you so much for the continued support on this channel. I wanted to kind of start doing streams, and yes, I am hoping to have guests in the future. I'm definitely going to try to get in some contact with some people to do some streams for sure. And like I said, apologize for what happened earlier. My laptop kind of went a little bit F-free, and it just made a major, major mistake. So again, you guys have been so supportive. Lumix, you're going to have the last question. It says, will you do weekly live streams? Not going to be often, probably every once in a while. Because in all honesty, in all seriousness, it's going to come down to my schedule. My work schedule, I'm going to be getting a lot more busier at work. So probably not, in my opinion. I don't entirely expect there to be a ton, to be honest with you. So once again, guys, thank you for watching the stream. Really appreciate your guys' support. I will try to do streams every once in a while, and I'll see you guys there. And again, thank you for your support. I do have a video that is coming in the future that you will see. So thank you guys for the support. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone that joined up on the stream. We got 14 likes on this. That's actually really impressive, more than I thought I was going to get. So thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys for more content. Take care, everybody.